Good morning, everyone. I'm really enjoying that picture of the in the Eastville office. I've never been there, but I want to visit that office one day. Great to see so many faces there. Everyone has their taking their seat. Good morning, yes, sir. Hello, everyone. I come from that kind of environment. Previously, actually, not so long ago, where we always had a really good group of people. So it just kind of puts a smile on my face to see you guys there. That's not to say that those of you that are on here on Zoom working remotely, that you don't put a smile on my face. Believe me, you all do. This new market and this recent set of events have turned us into hybrid agents. And listen, I'm embracing every single minute of it, and I hope you guys are too. This is the future, and that's what it is, guys. We just have to embrace it. So guys, again, I want to introduce myself and, first and foremost, thank Nazar and the team for giving me the opportunity to speak here today. I am new to Five. For those of you that haven't met me, again, my name is Oscar Mendoza. I'm new to Five. My team and I came on board, I don't know, I think it's been 2 or 3 months ago. I was fortunate enough to bring some of my own business associates or leaders, Omar and Jose, Omar Alfaro, which is, I could see you there right now, Omar, and Jose Zavalza as well. And I'm just really excited to be here with you guys today. And, I've had the opportunity to already listen to a few of the guest speakers that have been presented here. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful because it's great to see people from different walks of lives, from different walks, different personality types, just sharing their story, whether it's agents here from California, out of state. And, guys, today, I want to make sure that you guys understand who I am, that I'm human, just like you. I sleep, I eat, I cry. Sometimes I'm fearful, sometimes I'm nervous, sometimes I'm excited. I've had my heart broken. I am as human gets. I am not like Superman or anything. I do have a couple of superpowers, but guess what? You do too. So I'm going to give you a quick bio. I'm going to read through this pretty quickly, guys. But I really want you to get an understanding of who I am, and more importantly, what my brain is made up of, because I believe that all of us are a sum of all of our experiences. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, okay? That's really what I want to talk about today. In fact, I had a whole different meeting planned for you guys, but recently I've been doing a workshop, and I'll talk about that in just a bit. I've been doing a workshop that really led me to share what I'm sharing with you guys today. So here we go. Again, Oscar Mendoza, I'm 47 years old. I'm an Aries. Any Aries out there is a strongest zodiac. I'm sorry, guys, but that's just the truth. I've been in the business for 28 years. I don't have a college degree. I have 2 years of college experience. My first job was at the age of 10 at a skate shop. I was a skater. Even though I'm like the most uncoordinated guy that you'll ever meet. I can't dance, but I'll dance. I can't skate, but I'll skate, right? I quit sports in the 10th grade. I was actually a starting receiver. If you guys haven't heard of St. John Bosco, that's where I graduated from. It's the #1 high school football team in the nation, so we're kicking ass over there. But I had to quit. I had to quit football just because I had to get a job. I saw my parents struggling financially, so that's kind of where like my entrepreneur spirit really came out, and I decided to get a job. I got a job cleaning tables at a pizza joint. My parents, just a little bit about my background. My parents migrated here from Mexico. My father was a blue-collar worker. My mother cleaned hotels. During graveyard, she had a graveyard shift, and fortunately, my father and my parents were able to buy a house in Huntington Park back in the early 80s for about $30,000. Sometimes my father was a workaholic. In fact, he had the most grandest work ethic that I'm still trying to fill his shoes. But my father at times even had 3 jobs, right? Just to make ends meet. And my parents sacrificed a lot for my brother, my sister, and I. By no means were we rich. We were blessed. We had good parents. There was always food on the table. But my dad did odd jobs as like even pumping gas for tips, right? And my mother eventually became a foster mom as well, and our home became a foster home. My mother, if you were to meet her, she's full of love. She just has the most grandest heart. I'll tell you this: if you were to take your children to my mom to take care of, she'll put like 10, 15 pounds on them, and they'll start calling her mom. My mom has the greatest heart, and so when my parents became foster parents, right around at the age of 18, I decided to leave home because our household had gotten kind of full, right? I think my mother had like 5 foster kids that she was taking care of. And I left my house when I was 18 years old, and I left my house with like $50 to my name, right? And so people always say, what the heck, why would you leave home? I said, just because it was a form of accountability for me. It was time for me to actually like get on my path, into maturity, into the real world. I pushed carts at Sam's Club in 100-degree temperature weather. Within a year, I made it inside the warehouse and became a store manager. I quit school. I started going to school, but it was 6 months in, I quit college. I went from being a manager to becoming a server. I said, like, I can't see myself doing retail. If any of you understand what retail, what the retail business is like, even as a manager, especially as a general manager or branch manager, you like literally live there. You have no life, right? So I quit that. I went from giving orders to taking orders at the Olive Garden. I can still recall clearly my very first day. I'll be very honest with you guys. I have a confession. I lied on my application that I had experience serving tables, and I didn't. So the very first table I served was a family of 8. They were celebrating a young girl's, God bless her heart. It was I think her first communion. And I walked over with a drink order of about 10 drinks on a tray. Yes, the moment I lifted one drink off the tray, the rest fell on her and her beautiful dress. So you can only imagine how I felt. I wanted to quit, but I don't have the quitter spirit, so I kept going. But I just thought I'd share a story because I still remember that in my mind. It's like, and again, this is all going to tie in. I got my real estate license at the age of 19. It was really tough. I was still serving tables. I lived off a $1 menu for almost a year, believe it or not. I quit my job as a server. I had 2 escrows in. About 2 months in, my escrows fell out of escrow and I had no job. I wasn't a server anymore. So then I had to survive, right? I was in survival mode. So again, almost a whole year, I lived off of a $1 menu. I was almost evicted. I didn't pay my rent for 6 months. I had no money. My car was out for repossession. I literally used to have to park it like 3 blocks away, right? And I'd have to walk 3 blocks every day just so that my car would not get repossessed. I let go of my credit. My credit took a dump. And then eventually, I finally had a breakthrough in real estate. It took about 9 months. And in a matter of less than 24 months, I made my first $100,000. And keep in mind that I made my first, it was actually $120,000. And I made that on a 50-50 split, okay? I want you to just think about that because I don't know where you are in your career, but one of the biggest complaints that I've always heard from agents as a broker, an owner, and a sales coach is the split. The split means absolutely nothing, guys. It's the dues that sometimes we have to pay. It's the knowledge that we have to acquire, right? So imagine for nearly 3 years, I was on a 50-50 split, never made less than nothing less since then than $120,000 a year. I was selling 40 to 50 homes a year, no team, just myself. And then at 25, I was diagnosed with cancer. Fortunately, I caught it early. I survived. In 2005, I got married at the age of 30. I've been engaged 3 times. The first 2 were failures. First girl broke my heart to pieces. The third was a success, which is my current wife, Elizabeth, right now. In 2007, I lost my father at the age of 58. I inherited 2 households. I was broke. My wife was pregnant. My firstborn Oscar was born 4 weeks after my father passed away. He was premature. Immediately, I got my wife pregnant a second time, and then Adam was born. I lost everything in that year. I had $500,000 in savings, completely lost it in 2007, 2008. I had to sell my house. I had to short sell all of my properties. And then I got into a MLM business, right, for about 2 years. If any of you have heard of Monavi, I was slanging the juice, right? I had written off real estate. I didn't want anything to do with real estate. I was angry. I was upset. I was hurt. I was heartbroken. I said this business was a setup. It was a fraud. I was angry at the world. I filed for bankruptcy. And about 2 years later, which was 2010, I came back into real estate. And in 2012, I opened up my own office with only 2 agents, a partner. By 2015, we grew from 2 agents to well over 140 agents. We were one of the top 25 offices in Southern California for closed units, which I'm talking about over 5,000 offices. And in 2022, there's a market reset. Here we are. And I guarantee you that there's multiple stories that I could share with you in between that timeline. And thank you for being patient and listening to that, right? If you don't think that was a roller coaster ride, believe me, it was a roller coaster ride. And I'm just glad that I'm here today. And I want you to know that if any of this resonated with you, if maybe you had some success in your business in the last 5 years, or maybe you've been in this business as long as I have, and you feel like you're starting from scratch again and you're kind of down about that, guys, let me assure you something. We get to do this all over again, and it's not from scratch. We get to do it from experience, right? We get to do this from experience. And so today's talk is going to be wrapped around something that I have been working on these last couple of days, and I'm only going to cover a tidbit because I don't have too much time. Here, let me see, share. Can you guys see that? Yes. Nazar, can you see that? Yeah, we're good. You guys can hear me still? Okay, good. And so today's class, by the way, I love this slide. I love the word thrive at 5. Like, I think everybody should have this because we're not here to survive. We're here to thrive. And again, today's mastery class is by yours truly, myself, Oscar Mendoza. And guys, the first thing, yesterday I was reading like the introduction. I was reading the introduction of for today's meeting. It says, this is Oscar, who used to own an Intero real estate office. It was a top producing office, so on and so forth. And I thought about that because I'm not going to tell you how I built the office, but what I will tell you is this is the most important thing, the biggest breakthrough that I had as a business owner in my entire career. And it was understanding and embracing that business is 80% psychology and 20% skill set. How many of you can agree with this? That business is 80% psychology? Yes, right? And what really blew my mind is that when I became a broker, in fact, I learned this not when I became a broker. I learned this when I got into a multi-level marketing business. I learned this because I went from selling homes to helping people, to coaching people on doing sales, right? And what I really learned is that the skill set portion is not complicated. It's not easy. I'll never use the word easy. Real estate is not easy, but it's simple. And the biggest challenge that I learned from people is belief, self-belief. Their psychology is so twisted. They're so out of touch with their own psychology that even if you gave them the best skill sets, the best tools, the best technology pieces, the best computer, the best, state-of-the-art phones, the best of the best, it wouldn't make a difference. 90% of the time when I would sit down and do a coaching session with one of our agents, or say one of my distributors, right, in my downline, conversation wasn't even about the business. It was about what was happening in their lives. And I learned very often that if we could fix that, it resolved everything else. Everything followed suit, right? I often get asked, whenever I'm at a convention or something, and someone recognizes me and they say, "Hey, you're Oscar Mendoza." I say, "Yes, I am." "Hey, if there's one piece of advice that I can, a piece of advice that you can give me right now, what would it be?" And it's right here. Be coachable. Because you see, if you're not willing to learn, if you're not willing to stay green and growing, and you choose to be ripe and rotting, it doesn't matter what I share with you. It doesn't matter what anyone shares with you, for that matter. In fact, I've coined, I think I coined this term, but this world is full of ask holes. Excuse the language there. I said ask holes. People always ask for advice, but they never take it. So I said, look, I can give you all the advice, but if not, you're just an asshole. Right? So I encourage you guys, stay coachable. It doesn't matter how long you've been in this business. It's very important that you stay coachable. Next, the next topic here is motivation versus accountability. Which do you guys think is more important right now? I mean, like, I love motivation. I mean, I love feeling good. I love listening to audios. I love attending seminars. I love all of that stuff. I'm sure you've heard the saying that motivation is like showering. It doesn't last. That's why you have to do it every single day. However, there's absolutely nobody that can motivate you. You have to be motivated in this business. And actually, as an entrepreneur, you have to already have a built-in motivation. One of my mentors, Mike Ferry, said it best. He said, he was talking to a group of brokers and managers at his management retreat, and he said, and this stayed imprinted in me forever. I think it's going to be forever. He says, guys, you got to understand, we're not in the business of motivating the downtrodden. We've got to focus on the motivated individuals and pour into them, right? So again, motivation versus accountability. Guys, look, in this current market right now, what we're going to talk about, you might think it's a motivational PowerPoint that I'm going to give you, and it's not. It's called self-accountability. It's being accountable to the person in the mirror, to the person that you see every single day when you go to the bathroom, in the mirror, when you're driving, the person, that little voice in your head. This is about taking personal accountability, doing a checkup from the neck up, and truly working on yourself. Because look, if you don't work on yourself, motivation is just going to make you feel good. It's like a drop of dopamine. It goes away. So next, what I want to talk to you guys about is understanding the power of patterns, right? And it's interesting because what I'm going to share with you right now, shortly, like in my little bio here that I shared with you, like it really helped me sit down and understand that there was a lot of patterns here that I discovered that have helped me grow as an individual. But before we do that, here are some brief thoughts and ideas to ponder on. Patterns are like the economy and the seasons we experience year-round. Would you guys agree that right now, this economy, what we're going through, it's a pattern? I mean, listen, I'm 47 years old and I understand I've seen 3 down markets already. I mean, the first one I just got into, but this is a pattern that we're experiencing, right? It's like the seasons, like a farmer knows that there's 4 seasons in the year. He understands that there's like right now, everyone's sowing seeds. We're in winter, right? We're in winter time. For us in business, we're in the winter time. Right now, we're sowing seeds. So come spring and summer, there's a harvest. I love this here. I wrote this down. It says, you can't have courage if you don't have fear. This really made me think. Because you gotta have to ask yourself, are you really a courageous person? Most people, there's nothing wrong with fear, but you can't have courage if you don't have fear. And I'm telling you right now, if there was ever a time to make yourself feel uncomfortable, it's right now. I was having this conversation with some of our agents yesterday, and I said, comfort zones are kill zones. You've got to do something to make yourself feel uncomfortable right now. In 5 to 10 years, look, if what I'm saying doesn't make you uncomfortable here, I'm going to make you uncomfortable right now. In 5 to 10 years, automation will replace just about every task that we perform as real estate professionals. It's happening, guys. It's happening. You can be in denial. You can do whatever you want. You can kick and scream. It's going to happen. I think I was having this conversation with some of the leaders, but I don't know if you guys know, there's like these class action lawsuits are already happening at the National Association of Realtors at the national level where there's a class action lawsuit against sellers suing us for paying buyers agent commissions, which means that buyers agents margins are about to be reduced to absolutely nothing because sellers are saying, wait a minute, why am I paying a buyer's agent when I'm paying my listing agent to sell my home? There's a lot of things happening, guys. And like I said, you can either ignore the clues or you can embrace them. Change is automatic. I love this one. Change is automatic and progress is not. Progress is not automatic, guys. And like I said just a while ago, things are going to change with or without you. Hold on, let me mute everybody here because I hear a lot of voices. Mute. Okay, I can mute everybody, but if you're not muted, please mute yourself. Appreciate that. Okay. So for those of you that have been in the business long enough, I mean, listen, I'll be the first one to admit that I've never liked change, but it's inevitable. And I mean, I struggled from when I had my flip phone, right? If you guys have been in this business long enough, I used to have a flip phone, right? And a pager. And then suddenly this new phone came out. It was called the BlackBerry. And I used to make fun of people. I'm like, dude, what are you doing with that thing? That's ridiculous because they're like this. They're like, sending emails through there. I refuse to embrace a BlackBerry. And then after the BlackBerry came the iPhone. And right around that time, I had just allowed myself to purchase my first BlackBerry, and I got used to my BlackBerry, and now the new next thing was an iPhone. Like, hopefully you guys get my point. Like, I did that harm to myself because I refused to accept that change is automatic, whether I like it or not. And progress is not. Progress is entirely 100% up to you. Okay. Next. So let's talk about the power of patterns, guys, because look, right now, what this is going to lead to is we need to understand the patterns in our life, right? The first one is called a pattern. It's called pattern recognition. Pattern recognition, which equals the removal of fear and chaos. So for those of you that have been in this business long enough, I mean, like, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, like, you're not losing that much sleep, are you? You're not losing that much sleep because you can anticipate. You've seen this before. You know how to deal with this whenever there's a market that begins to peak. I hate to use the word crash, reset, modify, whatever it is, right? It's not until you understand something that you're able to remove the fear and the chaos that comes from it. Next. Here's the power of the second pattern. It's called pattern utilization. You see, in everything, there's a silver lining. Every experience, it's an opportunity for you to grow from. Just like COVID hit, right? What did you do? Did you just sit at home, lock yourself in a closet, or did you have to become more resourceful? I'm going to tell you this right now, and I'll say this again. I'll tell you what I saw happen. And I'm going to say this slowly. I saw less agents do more business, and I saw more agents do less business. It was a matter of becoming resourceful. You see, in our world, there's no shortage of resources. What we have a shortage of is resourceful thinking, resourceful people, people that are resourceful in taking action. The third pattern, it's called creation. It's the new you. It's the new growth, right? It's you modifying yourself. It's you creating new habits. You know, the beautiful thing about creating habits is that once it becomes a habit, you don't even have to think about it anymore. And when you don't have to think about it anymore, you don't have to give that habit energy. And now you're able to invest your energy into something else, whether it's a new habit, a new thought, or whatever it is. You get to leverage your own energy by creating new habits. So here's a question, guys, because I know, again, we're going through a fuzzy phase right now in the market. And so here's the big question for all of you. What will you do during this time? mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, and spiritually. I just want you to think about that for a second. Like mentally, what are you doing for yourself right now? Are you reading books? I got books everywhere. This office isn't set up. I just moved into this office, but I got boxes and boxes of books. So what are you doing for yourself mentally, emotionally? Are you expressing emotion to your loved ones? Are you spending time with the people that matter? Like, what are you doing for your emotional health? Physically, have you finally decided to work out? You finally decided to trim those 10 pounds, to maybe get rid of the cheeseburgers every night? I don't know what it is. What are you doing for yourself financially? Have you taken any financial literacy courses? Have you met with a life insurance agent? Have you met with a financial planner? What are you doing for yourself spiritually? Have you begun to go to church maybe? Maybe pick up the good book, whatever religion you're part of. Have you finally embraced meditation, affirmations, writing in a journal? What are you doing, guys, right now? This is the time. This is the time of accountability, not motivation. Next, so here's the plan. This is one thing I learned. If you don't have energy, you can't. It's like having a Ferrari car sitting in the parking lot. It has no fuel. It's just a dead piece of weight. We've got to increase our energy. And the question is, where does energy come from? Is it how you eat, how you think, how you sleep? I mean, listen, we've got to admit, I'm sure there's been a time where you slept and woke up even more tired, right? Sleep doesn't always resolve everything. You got to ask yourself, where does energy come from? It comes from multiple sources. Has anybody ever here fasted? I love fasting. If you ever feel sluggish, if you ever feel like crap, don't eat. Contrary to belief, people tell you, go eat, it's because you need to eat. Come on, eat more. It's just going to make you feel good, but you're going to feel like crap still. I usually fast every morning. I don't eat from the morning, from the time that I wake up till about lunchtime. I'll be eating in about an hour or two. And guess what? My energy levels are at a level 10. My mental clarity, it's on point. I feel good. I'm smiling. My clients can feel it. When I'm prospecting, they can feel it. When I'm out there showing properties, they can feel it. It's an amazing feeling. Yeah, I'm hungry, but you know what? I've attached a meaning to me being hungry as like, yes, I'm fasting. Yes, eat up all the garbage. Yo, you're hungry, stomach, eat up all the garbage that's inside of me right now and get rid of it. Burn it for fuel. Because truly, that's what your body does. It's kind of a reset. Next, so if we know that that energy is real, then, and we understand that energy is important, that energy is a habit. And I want you guys to pay close attention here, because this was an aha moment for me just a few days ago. Energy is just not by default. It's not by act. It's intentional. We have to, just like a habit. We've got to create the energy, right? I want to ask you this. How did you feel 4 days ago on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being that your energy was at peak performance. 1, you were like, I can't even get out of bed. I guarantee you, if I asked you all and we had some time right now, some of you would be a 4, a 5, or a 6. And we know, and if we know that energy is that important, then why haven't we made a habit of creating energy for ourselves to fuel our every desire? So let me ask you this: if you're in business, you can't manage what you can't measure. One new thing that I'm doing, that I'm implementing, that I'm going to encourage for you guys to do, whether it's on a calendar, whether it's on your journal, whether it's on your phone, every day on a scale of 1 to 10, I am writing down what my energy level was for the day. So this way I can better understand what I'm dealing with, or what maybe I did that caused for me not to have energy. I already know what it is. I went out on the weekend. I had too much wine. I had too many old fashions. I didn't get enough sleep. I didn't have a good healthy meal. I can identify those things and then come to terms with it and fix it. Because look, let me ask you this. Would you ever date a 5? Even better, let me ask you this. Do you think that a client would, one of your clients would prefer somebody at a 10 or at a 5? They feel your energy, guys. And I'll tell you a quick little story. This weekend, I was showing a home out here in the city of Long Beach, trying to compete with my boy Andy Carter here, right? Which, by the way, Andy Carter is the one that really is inspired me to start working the area, because I see the amazing things that he's been doing in Long Beach. And I was showing a home. It was priced at, I think, at 2.5 million. Ryan, by the way, another motivational force. I think he just closed a $14-15 million deal. Great job, my friend. It just goes to show you what's possible. And I was showing this home, and the listing agent was there. And again, I'm trying to make this story short. When we walked out of the property, my client says to me, "Oh my gosh," she says, "that girl was really young." And I said, "Oh yeah," I said, "I was talking to her. She actually graduated from Rosary, which is a sister school to Servite, which is where my kids go. She was about this tall. I'm 6'2", so she was about 6 feet. She was a volleyball player, but she lacked energy." My client goes, "How did she get that listing?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" She says, "She just doesn't seem." I said, "Well, she's young. She's only 20 years old." I said, "Listen, I got into the business when I was 19, 20. She says, "Yeah, but Oscar, but you're a hustler." You know, sometimes the word hustler can have a negative meaning. I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" You know, she says, "No," she says, "I'm just saying, like," she says, "there's fire in you. You're excited about the business. Just the look on your face, your tonality, your body language, the smile, the look on your eye, how you approach me." She says, "Let me give you a little," she says, "let me tell you a little secret." She says, prior to having you show us homes, my husband and I were already looking at homes. And she says, "In fact, the ones that we're going to go see right now, we've already seen." She says, "But the other day when I bumped into you in the green belt," because she was walking her dog and I was walking my dog, "we got into a conversation that led into a real estate conversation." And she says, "And I really admired your level of energy, your enthusiasm, your conviction. And I just felt something good about you." And I told my husband, "That's the guy that's going to get it done. That's the guy that's going to get it done." And she says, "And here we are today. You're officially our real estate agent. And by the way, they're buying all cash." Why? My energy was at peak performance that day. Telling you guys, increase your energy. Next. I'll read through these because we're short on time. Emotion is created by motion. Listen, here, let me go to the next one. Energy is emotion. It's energy in motion. Like, for the life of me, I don't understand how people are still sitting down prospecting on the phone. I'm standing up right now. I have a stand-up station. I can't even host a meeting. I can't even make phone calls sitting down. Look, I'm not here to beat you up, guys, but if you want to create energy, energy is emotion, and it's energy in motion. The word competition in Latin means to conspire together. So we compete to conspire to become better together. It's called accountability. Surround yourself with 5. That's why I love 5. Surround yourself with the 5 people that are in most alignment with you, with your thought patterns, with your beliefs, with your conviction, with your level of energy. In fact, surround yourself with people that are a few notches higher than you are in your levels of conviction, energy, enthusiasm, excitement, experience, so on and so forth. It's all part of creating energy. Now, let's talk about something that it's energy depleting. Something that maybe you just recently experienced, something that we all experience, right? We had a loss. COVID was a great example. Imagine being told that you can't go out, that you can't go to a restaurant, that you got to wear this stupid mask. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not trying to, you know, look, I wore a mask because if it made other people feel comfortable, then that was important to me, right? But the restrictions that were handed to us, it was like being in jail. Weight gain, health went sideways, etc. And unfortunately, some of us did lose some loved ones. And I'm very empathetic to that. There was illnesses, right? It was horrible. It was a horrible experience. There's what they call the 6 stages of grief. When stuff happens like this, we usually go through what's called denial. Oh no, this is not going to last. This will pass. Look, when COVID hit, I'm like, this thing will blow over in a month. Right? It'll blow over in a month. And then you start hearing like, oh shoot, this thing's bad. Like all you saw on the news were dead bodies scattered outside hospitals. And I was like, oh my God, what's happening? What's happening? And you're in shock. And then you're like, dude, this is BS. What the hell's going on? Right? You're angry. And then finally, it settles, it kind of starts to like marinate in you. And suddenly the sadness comes. And then you begin to lose things, your income, your cars, your homes, friends, family members, your businesses. How many people didn't lose their business? Listen, I'm just going to be very transparent with you. I just closed my 8,000 square foot office because COVID kicked our ass. It's okay. Change is inevitable. Remember, I said like it changes automatic. So I had to change. But here's the beautiful part, the 6 stages. It's called followed by creation. And here we are today. I'm part of a new company. I'm around a whole new set of people. I'm like in the best circle of the best leaders in the industry that I want to be around in. And we get to create a whole new company that, thank you, Nazar, for putting this together. It's a revenue share program, right? We're only like at 150 agents. And I think Nazar said it best. If you truly want to create a residual income, there's only 150 agents that you have to compete with to go recruit another agent to come on board, versus if you go to these other places, you're competing against thousands of agents in your area to go try to recruit somebody into that revenue share company. We're creating something very special, guys. This is an opportunity for all of us. So here's a question. How do you create a breakthrough, right? How do you create a breakthrough? And it's massive change. It's a moment when you say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Maybe you're there, maybe it just happened, or maybe you're waiting for it to happen. I don't know. But let me tell you, again, when I was going through this list, through my bio, guys, let me tell you, there was in my timeline, there was times where I was angry, I was sad, I was angry at God. I literally swore off God at one point. And then I got my wife pregnant again, which wasn't supposed to happen. He said, oh, really? You think you have it? Okay, here's another child. I'm going to keep you busy. A lot of things happen. I wish I had more time, but in here, I understood my patterns. My biography is my story. It's how I'm able to understand my patterns. It's how I'm able to identify where I needed to grow. It's where I knew how I grew and never looked back. The question is, have you ever taken the time to sit down and write out your story? Sometimes that breakthrough comes from something that pushes you over the edge. It could be a conversation. It could be a movie. It could have been through a mentor, a seminar, or you just got an insight on something. So here are the questions for homework, guys, and we'll wrap this up. Here are the questions for homework, because I think that this here, what I did, and I'm going to lead you to where you can do this, because there's a 5-day free workshop right now. Maybe some of you are doing this. Maybe some of you recognize some of the stuff that I shared with you today. But here's your homework. This was my homework for day 1. What was your breakthrough? 2, what was a situation you struggled with for a long time and then finally broke through? What was the moment that changed it all? What triggered it and what made it a must? What made it possible for that change to last? New beliefs, new strategy, and or new insight. Answer those questions for yourselves. Because look, take a screenshot of that or a picture, whatever it is. And it says up here, pick one personal instance and one business. I think right now, guys, this is a time where it's important for us to understand patterns. If you don't know why you do something or why you react to something a certain way, how can you ever identify? How can you ever fix it? How can you ever grow from it? You know, someone once said, I forget who it was, and I say this often, is that someone's success rarely surpasses their level of personal development. And so when I say that business is 80% psychology, I'm going to tell you right now, work harder on yourself. Work hard on yourself, work more on yourself than you do your business. And then lastly, and this just kind of goes to, this is the 20%, this is the skill set, guys, right? We just covered 80% psychology, and there's only one slide per skill set. And I just kind of did a copy screen here for you guys to read. It says, look, listen, and I'll just read it for you. What is most important for real estate agents right now is prescription, not description. We are in a skills-based market where the most educated, the most skilled, and the most savvy agents are going to come out on top. There is change happening right now, guys. There are people leaving the business. Don't believe for a second that there's a record amount of new licensees. Dead bodies don't mean anything. The 80-20 rule is now 95-5. 5% of agents will currently control 95% of the market. Either as a leader or as an agent in the industry, working with your team on the following will help you stay one step ahead of the market. Focus on the numbers that matter. For those of you that have teams, that means being crystal clear on signing something, selling something, setting an appointment every day, and adding 5 contacts to your database each week. That's all that matters right now, guys. Tom Ferry said it best. Tom Ferry said it best, and thank God I'm going to see Tom Ferry next week. There are only 2 things that we need to be focusing on right now: conversations and appointments. That's it. Conversations and appointments. We've got to go all in on having conversations, just the same way like I was walking my dog, and I'm making it a point to talk to every human possible that crosses paths with me right now. And guess what that led to? An appointment. Now, the other thing is that we have to master the market. Whether you provide it for your team or you are a independent agent, make sure you are studying the national real estate economic markets as well as your local area. Being able to interpret information for your clients and customers is key. What is your real estate IQ? You see, the conversation went from, do you want to buy a house, or do you want to sell your home, to let's sit down and create some options, almost like a financial planner would do for one of their clients. Our real estate IQ, guys, needs to be at a whole different level. Practice sales conversations. Now is the time to rest on your laurels. Set aside time each day to practice different sales conversations, negotiation techniques, objection handling. The more you practice various scenarios, the more confident and prepared you will be to engage in any conversation that comes your way right now. Everyone's a buyer right now, guys. Everyone's a seller or an investor. They just probably don't know it until you have that conversation. Here we go. And that's basically it, guys. That is
all right. So Nazar had to jump off to another meeting, but just want to thank Oscar for presenting today and sharing your knowledge with us. And just as a reminder that these training calls will be on the 5realty.com page under the training section, and we'll have that up later today. So thanks again, Oscar, and everybody have a great day.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.